The year was 1974. A former top research and analysis wing official met the then Bangladesh PM, Mujibur Rahman. Why? To warn him against conspirators. 7 to 8 months later, on 15th August 1975, Mujibur Rahman, popularly known as Bangabandhu, was assassinated along with most of his family members. 50 years later, Mujibur's daughter stands in his shoes. She was forced to resign and flee her Dhaka residence by violent protesters. The army gave her an ultimatum to resign in 45 minutes and leave the country. She had to adhere, following which an interim government was announced on 5th August. Let's dive in the flashback and see how Hasina repeated her father's mistake. This was what PM Mujibur said to Ras Rameshwar Nath Kao. Kao was the founder of India's external intelligence agency. He met him in December 1974 with the approval of the then Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. The book Inside R and A Da by Ashok Raina said Mujibur Rahman had dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. Kao did not argue but said that the Indian information was reliable and he would send him more details of the plot. He subsequently sent a senior RA officer to Dhaka in March 1975 who gave Rahman exact details of the units and ranks of the serving and dismissed officers who were hatching the plot to overthrow his post-independence government. But again, Bangabandhu reportedly was not convinced. The coup toppled the Awami League government and forced the party to a state of political wilderness for the next 21 years until 1996 when it returned to power under Sheikh Hasina, Rahman's one of the two surviving daughters. It's been 50 years since India's RA warned Mujibur Rahman. In June 2023, Indian government officials had reportedly alerted Sheikh Hasina about the potential dangers associated with the appointment of General Waqar-Uzzaman as army chief. Despite these warnings, Hasina moved forward with the appointment, a decision that many analysts believe contributed to her recent political downfall. In the face of rising protests, General Zaman took a hardline stance by issuing an ultimatum to Hasina, demanding that she and her sister leave the country. What followed was Army's swift decision to release opposition leader Khaleda Zia of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. This move suggests that Islamist groups, including Jamaat-e-Islami and Islami Kafir, may be poised to play a more influential role in the country's politics moving forward. Nearly 50 years after Mujibur and his family was massacred in a military coup, Bangabandhu once again finds his legacy toppled by protesters who have overthrown his daughter, Sheikh Hasina's regime. Rahman's golden statue was climbed on and pulled down by angry mobs on 5th August. As unrest gripped the nation, violent protesters attempted to undo the legacy of Rahman by tipping over his statues, defacing museums set up in his memory, among other acts of anarchy. August marked the end of Hasina's 15-year rule of Bangladesh, which was liberated from West Pakistan in the first place by Rahman in 1971. When Mujibur was assassinated by renegade army officers and disgruntled members of his party on August 15, 1975, successive military governments attempted to erase his public image. His legacy was restored with the election of his daughter, Sheikh Hasina, and the Awami League government in 1996. Despite efforts to diminish his memory, these attempts to erase him from the nation's consciousness ultimately failed. Up until now, August 15 was observed as National Mourning Day in Bangladesh. Rahman is widely admired by scholars and Bengali communities worldwide for his opposition to military rule and what he identified as ethnic discrimination in Pakistan, as well as for leading the Bengali struggle for rights and liberty. Mujibur remains deeply cherished by his people, but will Hasina manage to carve a similar place in people's hearts? Only time can tell. For now, it seems like a tough road for Sheikh Hasina.